Hey everyone, Matt Beamer here from In the Marbles. Thank you so much for tuning in to us this week for another episode of In the Marbles. A very, very special episode. Joined by, as always, by my co-host, Preston Lude. Preston, how's it going, man?
It's going great. How does it feel? 1 year.
1 year, man. Yeah, this is such a big episode for us. It's our 1 year anniversary of In the Marbles. And as we talked about in previous shows, a lot of shows don't even make it past episode 7 of the show.
Really?
Of their show. So, yeah, I got a little special something here for us for the 1 year episode.
Oh!
And I'm so happy that, we've been doing this for a year, growing steadily and all that stuff, man. It's been a fun ride. Can't wait to see what the next year brings.
Who would have thought that when we started, we would be on YouTube? So, well, I mean, it's still kind of new, but still.
I knew eventually we were going to be on YouTube. It just took a little time, and I'm glad now. And that's going to slowly, I think, start going here soon. I don't think we had many. we haven't had many views on the videos, I believe.
No, we haven't.
But eventually, people will discover us either on there or word of mouth or something like that. Either way.
I wish there's a way, whenever I finally do start live streaming with a webcam, I wonder if there's a way I can just transfer everything over to YouTube.
There's a way.
Because I know that you have a few iRacing.
Yeah, I got a few, and I just use OBS and take care of it like that. But
right.
Yeah, well, Ian isn't here.
I
texted him, and he didn't show up. Kind of disappointed.
Well, did he message you back?
No.
Oh, okay. Well,
so kind of disappointed in that.
Good.
But you know what? 1 year, been consistent. I've been to every episode. You haven't, but that's okay. What was that? What happened?
I thought I had to sneeze just now, and then it went away. Like, oh my gosh! I was trying to back up from the microphone, and when I went to sneeze, then it was no longer there, and I was just like, okay. But like, was that weird? Did it look weird that I just did that?
Yeah, it looked very weird. That
it was slowly building, and I was like, this is gonna be bad, and like I was gonna back up, and like. Sometimes if I look up and I have light coming at me, it helps me sneeze, and then it just went away. So it's just like, all right, then never mind. So
let's. Oh man! So our 1 year episode. This is a really big one, and for those of you wondering why it isn't episode 54 and it's episode 53, is that we took Christmas and New Year's off last year, as we're going to do this year. So worry not. It's our 1 year. When this episode drops tomorrow. It's pretty cool. But I gotta ask, what's your favorite memory of the past year, man?
Oh God. Well, my not so favorite memory was the first episode because I thought I kind of butchered that a little bit.
We both did, man, and that's half the fun of.
Yeah, that was half the fun of it. And I can't really think of a whole lot. I mean, the Daytona episode was pretty funny. The stories that you had to tell.
Yeah.
Did we have stories to tell when we went to Roval? There wasn't really a whole lot going on. Wait, I remember now. I think we did tell the story of when we all got locked out.
Oh yeah,
at the camper, and I had to climb through the window.
We put you through a little VEIS stuff. Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
I remember that. Yeah, that was at least a one hiccup there. Other than that weekend went great, and then after that, I went to Disney World, and I'm sure, I don't know if anybody knows this, but our first 2 episodes were recorded the same night. Our pilot episode and our, dream field of 40 cars.
Yeah.
Racing was recorded the same night. I added those both the same day and released them 1 week apart because I was going to go to Disney and we couldn't do a show the next week. So I said, we got to do this. And it was so miserable because I think we started at 7 and then we ended the first show and then said, okay, let's do our 40 car field. And then we started right over again, did another about 45-minute show. It took 3 hours to edit both of those,
Oh God,
and it was miserable.
should have been offered a job by somebody, an editor.
Well, I'm not. I don't know. My skills haven't been discovered yet.
They will be.
I would say so, but my favorite memory of this whole thing, I think it was just like, seeing the numbers go up and up. More people are listening to the show, and we really appreciate it. And, I think it's just been fun figuring everything out as far as the YouTube, the sound stuff, getting everything set up and still evolving and doing this.
When you talk about the numbers going up, some of my other favorite memories are when we had Brian Barnhill first on the show, and we still keep in contact with him and everything.
Yeah.
And I know there was a cool thing about last week when we had Owen Smith on the show, and he said he came across us on Instagram.
Yeah.
It just popped up. He said it was recommended, and I was like, holy crap, it really is working then.
And what's really nice is you're in charge of the Instagram. I have no idea how to work Instagram.
Yeah, but I've always wondered how would people come across that. But then he was like, yeah, I was just, looking for something to listen to, and I was on Instagram, and you guys just popped up and said it was recommended for me, and I was like, holy cow, that's pretty.
Who's our top 5 from the races, who we have for next week, who to watch out for. We have our picks to win
Yeah.
the upcoming races and why, but it isn't going to be the typical talking for NASCAR about 30 minutes just about the race, but I want to get more in depth in it. I want to get more in the marbles with it. Stuff where no one wants to go. The original idea of this show a year ago was you and I sitting down at the firehouse and talking about what we want to see. We wanted to go off the beaten path, thus in the marbles where no one wants to go. And I feel like, the years progressed as far as the evolution of the show, but I feel like it could get better as anything you put your time and effort into. Not that we did bad. I think we did, for our first year, we're not doing horrible. We're not losing people. It's consistently rising like the stock market. But, I just want to bring up more opinions and get more fan interactions instead of, this was the recap of the race that happened on Saturday and today's Wednesday, and everybody knows the recaps. But let's get more into it.
There are plenty of podcasts out there that go over recaps.
And I don't mind recapping the race. I just want to...
Yeah, you want to change it up a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to change it up, but in a good way.
Yeah.
Change it up in a good way to where I think you and I could take the show and go further with it, stuff like that. But it's been a fun ride. I can't wait to see what the next year brings, where we're going to go, what we're going to do. It's going to be a lot of fun. Hopefully do a little bit more than we did this year. This year was a bust. But it's going to be fun. And I must say, my uncle brought it up to me. He's been listening to the show since the start. And he says I say the word absolutely a lot.
You do?
Yeah.
Listen. I don't think I've ever heard you say it that much.
Yeah, go back and listen to the shows. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
It's like I just need a sound button with absolutely on it.
Well, I used to say a lot, so...
You still say a lot.
You're right.
I do the editing, man. I do the editing.
Yeah.
But Preston, man, how's it going with life? I have a bit of sad news from you, as far as the job.
Oh, yes, I am no longer a firefighter.
Yeah, and that's a bummer, man, because...
I mean, I came to accept it. I mean, it's okay. I'm having some minor health issues that kind of restrict me from doing the job to the fullest extent, which is okay. I'm like, you know what? That's fine. I've already come to terms. I moved on, looking at other places. So it's okay.
All right. And you just had an interview today.
Yes, I did.
Well, where at? You want to tell us where? Or
a delivery company.
Okay. That's fair enough. That's fair enough for right now until you actually start working there. I could see why you don't want to jinx it.
Yeah, exactly. So
family good? Everything good?
Family's good. Life is good. Baby's good.
Both babies.
Both babies are good.
Good. We went up to Bristol this past week.
How was that?
The weather was beautiful. I'm going to get more into it there because I got my opinions about the Bristol race.
Okay.
Coming up here, but overall the weekend was great. The weather was outstanding. 50 degrees up there.
Oh.
It was at night in the 40s, but 60s during the day. It was beautiful up in the mountains. I want to thank my Aunt Margaret and Uncle Dudley for letting us stay up there in the mountain house. It's just perfect weather. I could sit out there on their gazebo all day and just relax. But we came back and we stopped. My mother-in-law came with us. So we dropped her off, and then we went back to go and take her back and start on our way home. And my niece, nephew, brother-in-law, sister-in-law, and mother-in-law, pretty much all of Caroline's family, were going to go to their pond. And so when they were going, they of course had my niece say, "Can you go to the pond with us?" She's 2 years old, so it's like, "Oh man, no, I want to go home."
Did you say no?
Well, I said no initially, and then when we started going there, we went to a gas station, gas up, and everything, and the pond was literally right next door to there. So my Caroline said, "Hey, let's go. You want to go? It's your last chance." And we ended up staying 2 more hours at the pond. It was fun, and fishing, or at least trying to fish. It was breezy that day, but a lot of fun. Good seeing the family. Just good going to another NASCAR race 2 in 3 weeks. My new Kevin Harvick car is down there in the display.
Oh yeah, I see it.
Yeah, it's
nice.
Yeah, I didn't want to see Harvick win. I kind of wanted to see Kyle Busch win.
Oh, okay.
Because I've seen Kyle Busch win in the Nationwide Series.
Oh,
but never in the Cup Series. I wanted to see someone else different win, but Harvick's dominating. We'll get more into that, but I'm glad everything's going well. Hope everything's going good out there for you Marbleheads. And if you've been listening to the show since day one, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you a lot. I actually really appreciate it.
Make sure to, half of the show is, I feel, word of mouth. So tell your friends, tell anybody who you come across with an NASCAR hat, hey, there's this podcast you listen to. Help us out. Help me. Help you.
Yeah.
Preston and I bring racing to the world. But that being said, you got anything else, man? Anything else going on with life?
Nope. Just wish I could be racing Formula One a little bit more these days, but I'm just so busy. I haven't been able to stream it at all, honestly, and it kind of sucks. But once I get everything back in order, then I'll hopefully be back there again. But I'm keeping the Twitch channel up for now.
Yeah, and I want to start streaming my iRacing stuff
because I'm thinking about because I've already set the webcam up and tested it out, and I mean everything works fine. But do
you have overlays?
What is overlays?
Okay, we'll talk more about that offline.
Okay, all right, that's good. So I think I'll start if I can, I'll start streaming late at night, doing just multiplayer races, because there's a lot of stupid stuff that happens there, and I'm sure you would love to see the reaction of me half the time.
Jeez, you should see my reaction. I've just stopped caring in NASCAR. I've just stopped, or iRacing. I'm just like, whatever. If it happens, it happens.
Well, I mean, I say if it happens, it happens, but my initial reactions are just like, oh, what? Oh, you kidding? But you kind of should expect that.
Oh yeah.
Especially in Formula One, where most of the action happens in turn one after the start.
Turn one, lap one, all that good stuff.
Half the people brake too late, and so you'll just see on the right-hand side just a bunch of people running into each other, and everyone's turning right, and then half the field's going straight still through the turn, missing the turn. It's awful.
And if you start in the back, you just mosey your way through it.
That's what I try to do. When those races start, sometimes there's just a one-shot qualifying, and then sometimes they do a quick 18-minute session. And especially in my league that I race in, if I can't get close to the front, I'm just going to kind of if I start in the middle of the field, as soon as we start, I pull off to the side and just kind of let everybody go by, because, like you said, a lot of that stuff happens right there in turn one, and I don't want to get caught up in that.
Yeah, man.
So
I don't blame you, but we got a lot to talk about, man.
There's a lot to talk
about. So what we're going to do is hit into the news and go from there. First piece of news I have, and it's the big one. It's the talk of the town. Bubba Wallace is joining Denny Hamlin's race team with the help of Michael Jordan. It's official, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited about this. 10 out of 10 excitement. I can't wait to see what this team does. Preston, how do you feel about this? Because a lot of people are either all in for it or not in it at all, or they're just, this is a bad decision by Hamlin, the naysayers out there. What do you think?
I'm excited for it. It's going to be cool to see just a single car team. I mean, they should be competitive, at least, knowing Denny Hamlin.
I would think so. I would think that they would be competitive, but you never know.
I mean, I think it's good I think it's good for the sport. I think it's good for Bubba Wallace. Definitely. It's cool that Michael Jordan's getting involved because I'm pretty sure he's been a race fan for quite some time anyways.
Yeah, I didn't know that about Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
I knew he grew up in the Carolinas, but I never knew he was went to races, watched the old school races. I never knew that about Michael Jordan, and him jumping on board kind of reminds me of a Joe Gibbs type thing where someone from outside the sport who, at first glance, unless you sit down and hear it from him, because all you think about Michael Jordan is basketball. That's all you think about.
Basketball.
But then he goes a little further. You pull the string a little more, and he likes racing. This is probably something he's been debating for a while about, and I'm so excited to see what him and Denny Hamlin Racing can do. This is going to be fun. I'm surprised they didn't call it like Hamlin Jordan Racing or.
Oh, so what is there a name for it?
It's just Denny Hamlin Racing.
Oh, okay.
But looking forward to it. It's going to be, I think, a lot of fun. Good for the sport.
Yeah.
The publicity for the sport right now is astronomically high because of Michael Jordan's entrance, and it's just the talk of the sports world, I feel. And I think it's going to be, let's be fair here, it's going to be a fifth Joe Gibbs car.
Yeah, so if we go back over the last week, so when Bubba Wallace announced that he wasn't coming back to Richard Petty, the rumors just, man, let me tell you what, it was like a hurricane of rumors. Oh, he's going to the 42. Got to be going to the 42.
And that's what I thought, too.
And I think that's what we all thought. And then Maples was telling me, hey, Denny Hamlin's got a press conference at 5 o'clock on Saturday. And then it was for nothing. So
it's never for nothing.
So then they came out the other day, and that's what it was. But I think we kind of knew that was coming as well, that he was going to announce that because of the rumors that, hey, Denny Hamlin wants to start his own team anyways. So I'm with you, 10 out of 10. I mean, I can't wait. It's going to be cool.
I'm very excited about it, and that's just one more notch in the silly season fiasco that we've been having this year. And another piece of silly season news, Ross Chastain is going to be heading to that 42 car.
Fantastic.
Driven by, right now, Matt Kenseth after about a little ways into the season after the whole Kyle Larson incident. But that's a big for Chastain. I think he's going to excel in there. He's doing well in the Xfinity Series this year, way better than he did last year. And I think he's going to bring that boost that team needs. Not just that team, but Chip Ganassi as an organization to it. He's got a good teammate in Kurt Busch, and I think he's going to, and with that veteran driver behind him, I think he's going to do very well. It's going to be fun to watch. Ross Chastain coming through the ranks, but now he's going to be in Cup full time. Your thoughts?
I love it. Absolutely.
Another 10 out of 10.
All caps. Like when I saw that he was getting promoted, I was like, man, this is something that he needs. This is good for him. This is definitely what he needs. Finally,
yeah, it's definitely good for him. He's earned a seat in the Cup Series.
Yes,
I feel, and I think he's going to do marvelous.
I think he could be a contender.
And maybe not right away.
Well, yeah, I mean, a couple years down the road, but I mean, I think he's got that.
He's coming into good equipment.
Yeah,
he's coming into a very solidly organized team. And I think the team has won. The team has proven that it can win. And I think he's going to do well. And if anybody's out there who's getting into NASCAR, Ross Chastain is the guy to follow. From Florida, his family owns a watermelon farm. That's why he smashes watermelons like Gallagher every time he wins. But I think that's going to be good, not only for Ross Chastain, but for Chip Ganassi and bringing him to the sport, bringing a lot of fans, I think, up from the lower levels to there as well. So, and another piece of news coming up here. Fans for a while now have been saying we want more road courses and short tracks.
Yep.
Well, fans, you might not have to wait too much longer for a new one. Reports are that in 2021, the Cup Series will run at Circuit of Americas there in Austin, Texas. It hasn't been confirmed yet, but the reports are coming out that the Circuit of Americas could join the Cup schedule as early as 2021. I'm iffy about that.
Yeah, see, I was going to say the same thing. I kind of have my reserves about this one.
I think that track was specifically built for Formula One.
Yeah, that's a very big track.
It's a very big, unless they shorten it like maybe they did they can do with Sonoma or Watkins Glen.
Yeah.
When I say Sonoma, is it Sonoma still? No, it's
Yeah, it's still
I was
Sonoma.
thinking Sears Point.
That's old school.
I'm going old school here.
I mean, you're going before like Infineon.
Right. So Sonoma, they can shorten the track and reconfigure it. The same way with Watkins Glen, they can shorten it, reconfigure it, just take away the boot, and you have the cup track.
Yeah.
Can they do that here? Maybe.
I need to see schematics on the track first. I need to see what a layout looks like if they
I'm
could.
kind of iffy here because
It's just a very big track.
and I'm not much. I like the road courses to a point. I don't want to see them saturated with road courses.
Well, here's my take with it. So we know what a Formula One car is capable of, and how much faster you can get back to top speed. So, like, you get back on the throttle, and Formula One cars are going. That track, I can't off the top of my head think of the lap times that are run typically by a Formula One car. But knowing the difference between a Formula One car and a Cup Series car, I mean, that's a really big track. That's going to take a while.
It will, and
I mean, I'm like you. I think you hit the nail on the head with that track. Seems like it's made just for Formula One.
but it was specifically built a few years ago, like in 20.
I think it was.
I want to say 15, 15. One of the two.
No.
Earlier
Formula
than that.
One's been there for the past 8
Like,
years, I think.
Yeah, 2012,
Yeah.
2011. I don't know the exact date it was introduced to the schedule offhand, but it was built for Formula One to bring Formula One back to the United States.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm iffy about that. Am I willing to give it a shot? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Willing to give it a shot, but am I thinking it's going to stay there for the long haul? Am I thinking it's going to stay there forever? Is it going to be the next Watkins Glen? No. I think they're going to give it a year because they're talking street circus, dude. 2021 schedule hasn't even come out yet. I thought it was going to come out earlier in September, mid-September, maybe in August, reports were, but everybody's still
There's
up
a
and
lot
down.
going on.
There's a lot going on with everything, and I'm just curious to see what.
Now, with this, I believe this is taking, if this is going to be true, I believe this is supposed to take away one of Texas's original Cup dates. Because Texas has 2 Cup dates, I believe.
One in,
they're
the
gonna-
one in
they're-
the playoff and one in the spring. I
Yeah,
believe.
so because Texas is getting the All-Star race next year, which I'm still kind of a little, I don't know about that either. I mean,
Yeah,
we've
we could-
seen
we could-
lately,
we can bring that up to NASCAR to move All-Star race to Texas in 2021. Now, I like that. Bristol worked out fine. To have it in one place like Charlotte, yeah, it's a tradition, and I don't mind the All-Star race being at Charlotte. It's a good time for everybody to kind of stay at home, not to really have to travel. But if you're going to have these races, these All-Star races, you might as well make the race right after it the Cup race, the points race.
yeah.
Because the last thing I would want to do as a crew member is to go to Texas for the All-Star race and then come back and prepare for the Coke 600. Mm-hmm. Go there and prepare the car for the All-Star race. Have fun. Have all the teams there. And then after the All-Star race is over, go and get ready for the Cup race, the points race that following week. And
Man, I really don't know where to go with this one. I don't know.
that's what I would say.
I don't know. See, I'm just looking at it from a standpoint of like, so we went from Charlotte and we go to Bristol, and now we're going back to like a almost like another Charlotte, just a faster. I mean, Texas is faster for sure.
Well, I don't mind it. I like it.
I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, the All-Star race in the past few years hasn't really been the best. I know a lot of fans that would say, "Oh, they're kind of suck," I don't know. I mean, I'm kind of with you. Maybe what I'm thinking maybe they should do is, in my mind, like I think maybe they should hold the All-Star race at a different track every year, but have like back-to-backs, like you're saying. So have the All-Star race and then have the points race the next weekend. I think that's how NASCAR should do it. I think they should have All-Star race at whatever track they want to do that year. Then the next race should be the points race at the same track.
Yep.
And then, like I've been saying for a little bit of time now, they should have a different track every year for the championship race as well. They should go to a different track every year. It shouldn't just be the same every year. I think they should switch it up.
Yeah, I liked Homestead as a finishing race, though, but Phoenix is going to be a fun race, and given the way this season's going, that Stewart Haas number 4 is going to win it.
I wouldn't be betting against him, honestly.
Absolutely not. See, there I go again. Absolutely. I would not bet against Kevin Harvick. But you have any other piece of news, man? That's it for the news.
No, I think that was pretty much all that right there was talk of the town in NASCAR in general.
I can't wait till Denny Hamlin Racing kicks off. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I think Bubba's going to be competitive, but this is really Bubba's time to sink or swim.
Yeah, for sure.
There's no excuses now. He's going to have, I'm pretty sure, Joe Gibbs backed equipment. He's going to have a Joe Gibbs backed car. He's going to have a Joe Gibbs backed driver in Denny Hamlin, a very good driver. On top of that, the publicity and money and the sponsors that come with the name Michael Jordan coming in. If Bubba Wallace fails on this and doesn't live up to expectation, you can't blame the car. You can't blame the sponsors. You can't blame the team. You can only blame the driver. This is going to be really, can Bubba Wallace drive a NASCAR Cup car?
Yep,
If
I
he
agree.
can, great. I think it would be good for the sport. If he can't, nobody can say anything. People who love him, people who hate him will sure have something to say. Like, I told you. I bet they're chopping at the bit to say, I told you so.
Yep.
But I want to see him succeed. I want to see every one of those drivers in good quality cars. The Timmy Hills, the Quinn House, every one of those guys trying to make it in there. I want to see them make it. And this seat could have gone to anybody and went to Bubba Wallace. There's nothing you could do about it now.
Nope.
But again, that being said, it went to Bubba Wallace. You know, doesn't have the best track record in NASCAR. We're not even talking about the controversies he's been spun up in. We're talking about on-track performance.
Right.
I want to see how he does, personally. And this is, if he sinks, okay. If he swims, great.
Great.
So, but you got anything else before we get in? And we're not going to say NASCAR. Right? What we got right now is our, instead of going through the races, what we're going to do is something a bit different here. Maybe here moving forward. We'll see how this works. If it doesn't, definitely by all means let us know on social media that you liked it the old way or you like it this way. Instead of going through each race and stuff, we're going to condense everything down because I want to talk more about stuff going on and stuff. We talked about that at the top of the show. So what Preston and I came up with was we have our winners bracket and our losers bracket. So right now and I don't have a soundbite for that. Yeah. So we're just going to transition right into that. So the winners, and we're going to take the winners of the weekend, winners and losers from the whole weekend. So for instance, if Formula One, Indy, all three series in NASCAR and ARCA raced, who impressed us the most out of that weekend? It could be winners and losers from Formula One and Indy, who impressed us the most, or Cup and trucks that impressed us the most. But on the flip side of that coin, we have a losers bracket. Who didn't impress us? And maybe we'll change the name losers over the course of the next couple months. We'll see how it goes again. But it's going to be fun. I think this is going to be a better way to break down who we personally think had a better run or not.
Yeah.
So here are my winners from this weekend. Kevin Harvick went to Bristol. I said last week I didn't want to see him win.
Guess what? You saw him win.
Well, guess what? I saw him win again, and 9th win of the season. Impressive run. Keselowski got knocked out early with issues. Chase Elliott had some bad luck. Kyle Busch started from the back, working his way up. Just didn't really pan out there. He was pretty upset after the race. But he's my number one pick from this weekend, and won 2 out of the 3 in the first round of the playoffs. Definitely a championship contender if I've ever seen one. He's won at every track coming up except Roval, and that's pretty impressive to me. My second winner is Sam Meyer, and he falls under the category of truck and ARCA because he went out there, won the ARCA race, jumped into a Gander Outdoor truck, and won that race.
Yep.
On top of that, Dale Earnhardt Jr. is pretty happy about him and excited, I'm sure, because he signed for Junior Motorsports for 2021.
It's impressive.
So I'm very impressed by that. I can't wait to see him continue climbing the ranks. So, Preston, who are your winners from this weekend's races?
I have 2.
Okay.
So I agree with you. Sam Mayer, definitely one of them. Hey, man, ARCA and Truck Series race winner in one night.
Yeah. That was impressive.
I don't care what anybody says. That's impressive. I don't care if it wasn't the hottest of races or if it was the coldest of races. I mean, still getting in 2 different vehicles and winning 2 different races. Granted, the ARCA race was full of cautions, quite a bit of them too.
Yeah, that's a start mainly.
Chase Briscoe was the other one, Xfinity, and he was in top 5. Well, he had top 5 stage points finishes, and then he won the race. So he was third stage 1, third stage 2, and then he got the win. I mean, he's got wind in his sails, man. Look at this guy going straight into the playoffs.
Yeah. He's got definitely wind in the sails, and
one of those contenders for sure, a favorite, I guess you could say.
Yeah, very much so, and I think he's going to be a contender for that Xfinity Series championship if Austin Cindric doesn't have anything to say about it. It's been them 2 all year.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun to watch for the playoffs. And we messed up again, man.
Uh-oh.
We messed up again here at In the Marbles.
Oh, yeah, we did.
The Xfinity Series championship didn't start at Bristol.
No.
It starts at Las Vegas.
We're figuring it out.
There's no way in 2 to 3 weeks in a row that should happen. It should happen maybe once.
I blame
or twice.
NASCAR for this because they have
No.
all their series. They have to
blame-
start different things.
I blame COVID for this.
Oh, well, that too.
We're just going to blame it on COVID. I'm going to blame it on COVID.
I think you could blame COVID for just about anything and get away with it. So
Almost.
it sounds like a fair enough.
You could almost blame COVID for everything and get away with it.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And in yours as well. But here, on the flip side of that, we have the losers. And unfortunately, my losers are 2 drivers who I wanted to see run well into the second round of the playoffs. Matt DiBenedetto and William Byron. Matt DiBenedetto just couldn't really figure out his stride there into the playoffs. It was an average finish of 19th in the first 3 races of the playoffs. And William Byron with an average finish of 21.3 with those issues at Bristol. He looked like he was going to come out well when he raced at Darlington. And in the other 2 races, he just couldn't really do well. Byron was scoring stage points. He was doing everything he needed to do. I thought the wind in the sails from Daytona would carry him on, at least through the second round of the playoffs. I didn't think either of those drivers would be out of it right now, but that's unfortunately the way it is now in the playoff era. You have any losers from this weekend?
Just one.
Okay.
And you mentioned him as well, William Byron.
Yeah, that's unfortunate, man. It's just
I mean, after the win at Daytona, which, I mean, like you said, I mean, getting the win, you get the wind in your sails, things are looking good, but I don't know if it's driver or, I mean, like you have a championship winning crew chief.
a 7-time championship crew chief.
Yeah,
in Chad
7-time Chad Canals. I don't know if...
And I think Hendrick was trying to do something as far as help him, give him that veteran crew chief and that. I don't know.
Maybe they didn't mesh well together. Maybe... I don't know what it could be. I really thought that William Byron was going to... I mean, like you said, at least second round, make it to the second round, but it just... I don't know. He seemed like he was kind of struggling a decent amount this year. There was a lot of times where I don't think he was getting the finishes that they wanted.
I think with him winning at Daytona, definitely, but more so Jimmy Johnson and his little struggles. Jimmy could have very well been in there. Could he have advanced into his second round? I didn't do those stats. I don't think he probably, if he did, it's by the skin of his teeth.
Right.
But yeah, 4 drivers knocked out in the first round of the playoffs: DiBenedetto, Byron, Blaney, and Custer. We all kind of expected Custer to go. Blaney was a surprise for me.
Mm-hmm.
I thought he'd do better, especially with that Team Penske backing. But Byron, not a surprise to me. DiBenedetto, was that feel-good story I think everybody could stand behind, but it just didn't work out, man.
Nope. That's the way the cookie crumbles.
So, and now, for another new little twist for In the Marbles, we have a new way of rating the races here. Gone is to rate it the way NASCAR does on the fan council.
I like this way that we're coming up, that we're going to show everybody at home and explain to everybody. I kind of like it a little better.
And we just came up with this. It's in this beta testing, I guess one would say,
Yeah.
This might not be how it goes, and I wish we would have done this from the start. But we wanted to get out a year ago. A lot's changed in a year. So here's how we're going to rate the races here at In the Marbles from now on, and I think it's a good way.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
We have 6 categories. We have 2 in green, 2 in blue, 2 in red. And you have the top one being outstanding. Now, outstanding is that race where you can watch it over and over again and not get bored of it. A good one, for instance, would be the 2003 Dodge Dealers 400 there at Darlington, where Ricky Craven beat Kurt Busch by .002 seconds. One of those races where you can watch over and over again. Mm-hmm. So you go from outstanding down to great, still in the green, where you had fun watching it and you might watch the race a few more times, rewatching the race a few more times. So for me, that would probably be the 2001 Talladega 500, the fall race, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. won, and on the final lap, Bobby Labonte flipped. To me, that's a good example of, I'd watch that over and over again, but I've seen it enough where it was a great race. Then we go into the blue. Blue is one of those things that's starting to get a little colder to me. And it would be, the next level would be from great to good. It was a good all-around race, but I won't rewatch the race.
Okay.
So any race really this season, with the exception of maybe the 2001 Daytona 500. Then we go to from good to okay. And the racing in okay to me means the race did not produce the action that I expected, but the finish was great. A good example of that will be this race at Bristol this past weekend. It wasn't what I expected, but the finish was good. Then we go from there to red. The first red category after okay is boring. Lack of action and little to no good racing through the field. Maybe a New Hampshire race.
Yeah.
Where it was just kind of like, it's okay. Man, I'm all flipping the cameras here. Yeah, it's okay, but it's not the best thing I've ever seen in my life. Then you go from boring to what I feel will be the number one rating of most of my Formula One races to dud. And dud is a predictable on the outcome, and I might have fallen asleep through the course of the race.
That one has to be my favorite explanation, the falling asleep one.
And I'll admit it, I've fallen asleep through a number of Formula One races. Or like a couple weeks ago where I was fixing my computer. I can walk away. The race is a dud to me. And these are just our ratings. They could change. Mm-hmm. We might shorten them. But I think 6 is a good number.
Yeah.
To pick one of these. Mm-hmm. And go through. So those are new rating the races. And if you're watching on YouTube, I apologize. I'm still trying to get the font down right because just looking at it now, it might not come up well. But here's how I rated all the races this weekend. Cup race was good. Xfinity was good. Trucks are okay. And ARCA was okay.
I think this system will connect more with our listeners, honestly, than what the number system was. Yeah. I think more people will be able to connect with this one better.
Yeah, I think so too. I think it will too. And it's simpler to understand and get.
Yeah. Because we're just a couple of guys just talking about racing. We're not trying to be all,
Yeah, we don't need to break it down like we did for years. Like, I mean, and people have told me, you have a great show. You're just speaking Greek. But now we're just...
Yeah, we're just
normal terms.
Yeah, we don't need to confuse everybody.
From outstanding to dud.
Yeah.
And that's all we need.
Yeah, that's all we need.
So, Preston, you're rating the races for this weekend. How would you rate them?
So, the Cup race, it was okay.
I agree.
So, the Xfinity race was good. Like I say, I always enjoy Xfinity races. I think they're very exciting races at times. Definitely a little bit more action near the front, unlike the Cup Series where it's almost kind of like Formula One. You almost can predict one guy that's going to get out there, and then that's it.
It doesn't matter what track they're at. If you're out front, you're out front.
You're out front. That's it. So
and that's unfortunate.
I mean, and so we can go back a couple weeks ago when they were racing at Monza, when Bottas got a little deeper in the field, a couple positions back in dirty air, and all of a sudden he can't drive.
I know
about that. So
right.
As far as the truck race goes. It was okay. And ARCA race was okay, too. Just, like I said, a lot of cautions for just... I mean, I think, like Owen was talking about last week, there might have been a couple of guys there that never raced there before, because I know he was saying that, and they didn't even get to practice.
No, it got rained out for practice.
So guys were just spinning out everywhere, and it's a shame. So, yeah, it was okay. Overall, the weekend was just... it was all right.
It was, and I'll go deeper into saying it like this. When I was at the track... We might as well just get into this before we cover the upcoming races and go into a very special Hey Man here. But I was listening to one of our episodes here. It was from the Martinsville race. And the racing I saw, it was great being at the track, for one. But then the race went on, and I was expecting something to happen that didn't. and that was short track racing, short track tempers, especially the night race. The night race always doesn't fail to produce a memory. The helmet throw.
Yeah, Tony Stewart.
You know, Jimmy Johnson getting wrecked as a rookie by Robbie Gordon, and you know,
there's plenty of things you could list. Dale Earnhardt turning Terry Labonte.
Dale Earnhardt turning Terry Labonte, but I'm talking more like the Ward Burton throwing the booties at Dale Earnhardt Jr. You know, just the drivers, the raw emotion of the drivers, and I was listening to this episode. It's from episode 38, almost 20 episodes ago, and I'm going to play it for you. But just it's crazy how we kind of called this a while ago. Like we started seeing the trend of this, and I'm going to go ahead and play for you now. And you guys and by all means, go back and listen to the full episode. It's episode 38. But this is just a clip from it that I found very true after the Bristol race. And the only reason I say that, it wasn't your typical, I feel Martinsville. Something's changed in the driver's mentality. Mm-hmm. It isn't like bumping, and they still rubbed and bumped and did all that. But it seems like these cars aren't on the edge anymore. It seems like if you got bumped in Martinsville 5 years ago, you're spinning.
Yeah.
Now, which is fine. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of cautions. But towards the end of the race, you're like, I want to see something exciting.
Well, I think it's because when you say to the point that 5 years ago or so, when you would get bumped, guys are spinning out. The cars are more almost like square nowadays. You guess you could say the front bumpers.
Yeah, you got a point.
So that may be why there was. There probably wasn't a whole lot of bumping runs or whatever. But I think that might have to. Honestly, I think it might have to do with not having any fans either.
Now, obviously, there were fans in the stands. And there weren't fans at the stands at Martinsville, but there were fans there, and I was waiting for something to happen. Something has to happen. There were 5 cautions, and I got the stats. In the past 10 years, this was the race with the least amount of cautions. 5 cautions. Competition, which came out after Stenhouse wrecked. The 2 stage-ending cautions. Newman's spin, and I don't recall the other one offhand. I think it was that guy from Australia, that driver who spun off at turn 2 because they were all checking up and Dylan ran in the back of him. I forget his name. 5 cautions for 50 laps. So 10% of the race was run on the caution. 90% of the race was then ran under green. It was a very fast race.
Yeah.
But the lead changes are what blew me away. The most that I could see for lead changes was 23 among 10 drivers last year. I didn't recall it being that many last year. Like 23 lead changes among 10 drivers. This year it was 14 among 8 drivers. But as you heard, it was like something's changed in their mentality. Like, gone are the days of, I'm going to run into you and do that. I feel like if NASCAR wants to go bring back more short tracks, Auto Club's turning into a short track, they better do something about the package. They better do something about the drivers. I want to see step up. Quit, get out there and race.
You could use your sensor button right now if you wanted to.
Yeah, I could, but I'm not. Get out there and race, and get out there and go get it. Kyle Busch blamed the Laptown traffic for him not winning the race. No, you weren't. Get in there and drive it in there. Checkers or wreckers, man.
If you have lap traffic that you're going to blame, first of all, they have just as much of a right to be there as you. Get them out of the way if you can. Yeah,
and not to say that I didn't see cars go sideways. I saw, out of my peripheral, Christopher Bell, somebody rubbed him, and he was up the track. And it's like, I want to see more of that. When Christopher Bell hit the wall, there was no caution. Now, I'm sure that was justified by NASCAR.
Yeah.
But, I was thinking, this is it. This is going to set up to be a great finish. And it didn't. Harvick was in the lead, hitting his marks. And I noticed something crazy, too, about that. If you were running well at Bristol, your brake rotors were not glowing. If your car was handling right and you were hitting your marks and doing everything right, your brake rotors weren't glowing. However, if you had an ill-handling car or you were stuck in traffic and you were having issues, those rotors were
That's what I was about to say. That I think it has to do with also having to be in traffic, too. So here's the thing. Like we had called it, during that episode about Martinsville, the cars all look the same these days. Just because they got an emblem on the front that says, hey, it's a Toyota, it's a Chevy, it's a Ford. They're all, I mean, the specs
They're
are
all the
same.
Yeah.
And I hate it like that. And like I mean, heck, like I absolutely, the cars are more square. Absolutely. There's no doubt about it. As far as the beating and banging goes, there's definitely a different mentality, and I think it's just because of the way the cars are set up nowadays, the way the racing is. I mean, like we said, Bristol is now a 2-groove racetrack at this point. People are running high and people are running low.
Yeah.
And the old days, it used to just be the low. If you were on the low groove, you're good. If you get stuck up high, well, man, it sucks to suck.
Oh, yeah.
And if you were in the way of somebody in that low lane, you're going to get moved.
Yeah.
Plain as simple as day.
I didn't see any of that, man. I was kind of disappointed in that, especially being at the racetrack. You want to see a good show. Bristol did a good job in everything. I was again happy to be there. But did I walk away going, that was the best racing I've ever seen? No, I didn't. And that's disappointing. I think fans expect a show. You know, you're paying money. It's like when you go to a wrestling event and you just see no one going on the top turnbuckle and doing a crazy little swanton bomb or whatever it is.
Right.
You want to see that. You're going there expecting to see, especially at a short track. And we said the same thing about Martinsville. We said the same thing about Richmond. And now it's becoming a trend.
It's kind of setting up to, like you said, you can just predict it at this point. And I mean, I won't harp on it too much, but it's funny when you say it's like, you know, people want to show, and it's like going to a wrestling event and you want to see them do this. And there's a certain wrestling company out there that people can start to see through it, as in like people, you can predict it, because what they would do is they try to cater to the fans a lot, so they would go to do live events like 5 times a week, and you would have like the same matches almost every single night, and you would be able to know what moves they're going to do. It's kind of, NASCAR's kind of reminding me of that. We can see through it. We're seeing that, hey, we can predict this. We already know what's going to happen. It's almost like Formula One with Mercedes. We already know who's going to win. Mercedes is the fastest all weekend. Oh, no surprise there. If they're starting up front, hey, they're going to win. Yeah. So it's just...
And with the new changes with no qualifying, and I don't care what Bob Pockrass says, that whole formula they're doing with the, hey, fastest lap and finishing and all that, Harvick's always going to be up front.
Right, exactly.
They need to put all the numbers into a bingo machine.
Yes.
And then just say, whoever comes up first comes up first. The heck with this, the playoff drivers start up front. That's not fun for me.
It's
Kyle Busch starting in the back of this Bristol race was so much fun watching him come up through the field.
Exactly.
Him and Hamlin. Even Hamlin, even after that run-in where he bent up the nose with Truex, was amazing to watch him recover from that. I want to see more of that. The heck with, let's put the playoff drivers up front and them entitlement, we should be there. I think all playoff drivers need to start in the back from now on. Let's make it more interesting.
That could be something that could be brought up. Why not? Why not try something like that?
Because NASCAR is afraid of alienating more fans.
They've already done that.
And they've done that.
They've been doing that.
And with these short track races, I think you could go up to anybody who was at that race or watched it on TV, and they would say there was really no action.
Like
it was a fun race. I enjoyed it so much being there. It was great. But would I rewatch it? No, I wouldn't.
Like here's the thing. I understand that the sport comes down to a lot of money these days. I mean, when the sport first started out over 60 years ago, when coming up as the decades went, we're in I think this is the most expensive time it is to have a race team, and that's why we see people disappear from single car teams. There's just so much, and like I hate, I'm not asking for accidents all day long. I don't want cars to be wrecked because I understand that it costs money, but the drivers don't have the same tenacity that we've seen in the past. And I think it has to do with money these days, the way the cars are made these days, the packages for sure just screw everything up. And then, like you said, we don't have practice. We don't have qualifying. Man, when you watch Formula One qualifying, that is some exciting qualifying. We don't even get to see practice or qualifying for NASCAR. And then when they first started out with, we're going to do a random draw, didn't really seem too random to me. And then they wanted to say, oh, we're going to go 1 through 12 in the points. We're going to do a random draw. And then we'll go 13 through 24, random draw.
Yeah.
And you can start anywhere from 13 to 24. That's stupid, too. Come on.
Which I don't mind that. Because then it gives incentive to run better and do well in their points. But the same drivers are always going to be up front with this new system. Whoever wins last week is going to be on the pole the following week.
Yeah.
You might as well just line everybody up how they finished.
And I hate when people say, those people that are in the back, well, you know what, maybe they need to finish better, and then maybe they'll be up there. Well, guess what? I got some news for you. Not all teams have the same equipment.
No.
We see it. All those guys in the back that deserve a shot that are in, I wouldn't say junk equipment, but I mean, still, it's a night and day thing.
Yeah.
You're gonna have the same teams up front, and it's just, I agree with you. I think we should start all playoff drivers in the back.
Yeah,
Why not?
start them on the back or just throw everybody into that bingo ball thing and
Yeah.
draw them like that. That's just me. And that was kind of my little rant because I didn't see it. I saw a good race at Bristol, and I thought it could have been better. There could have been more being. And if it is a money thing with sponsors and image, man, if I owned a team and I'm sponsoring a car and my driver didn't try to move someone out of the way, I'd probably go up to an owner and say, start driving more aggressive, or I'm not paying your bills. And I'm sure some driver, and nobody wants to see their name tarnished, especially on a race car.
No.
And have the driver get out and do what Kyle Busch did a few years ago and get all angry at everybody and throwing the middle fingers to the officials. Nope. I mean, yeah, okay, maybe you're pushing it a bit too far, but if you keep it on the track and go at it, and heck, even if after you get out of the car and you push the driver around like we saw this year with Noah Gragson and Burden, as long as I see passion, I'm going to be more vested and invested into the product.
Yeah, I like the passion. When Chase Elliott was wrecked at Darlington by Kyle Busch.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was great.
I'm happy to see Kyle. I'm happy to see Chase Elliott gotten out of that car and do what he did.
Yeah.
And I was so happy with that. I was happy to see that little scruffle between Gragson and Burden. I'm just happy to see passion. But if you just race around in circles and, don't try to, drive it in deep and blame a lapped car for your lack of winning. Come on. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see excuses. I want to see I left it all out there. I gave it all I got.
Yeah.
And that's kind of my little rant. I've been saving that up and trying to figure out the best way to deliver that.
It was a good way to deliver it.
Since this weekend. But that's all I got on the races, man. You got anything else?
Nope.
All right.
Else.
Upcoming races. We got a few upcoming races. I can't wait to see them. Formula One racing the Russian Grand Prix this Sunday, September 27th at 7:10. It's usually 9:10, but it's 7:10
Eastern time, yeah.
On ESPN. The ARCA series is racing from Memphis International Raceway, and it's going to be on MAV TV. What the MAV stands for, I have no idea, but it's going to be racing on there starting at 6 p.m. on September 26th. The NASCAR series is going to be heading to Las Vegas for all three series. September 27th is going to be the Cup at 7 p.m. on NBCSN. Xfinity, September 26th at 7:30 p.m. on NBCSN. And I'm pretty sure I said p.m. on the Cup race, but it is a p.m. race. I don't know if I said a.m. or not.
You said p.m.
Oh, thank you. And the truck race is going to be on September 25th at 9 p.m. on FS1. Can't wait for all those. And here's my picks. We're still going to have picks here, but they're not going to be my top 5 and stats and everything. But I'm just going to give you the reasons why I picked these drivers, and Preston's going to do the same and make their case for it. So Formula One, Russian Grand Prix, I'm going to give it to Lewis Hamilton. Won the last 2 races there at the Sochi. Is it Sochi? Sochi Raceway there at Russia, with an average finish of 4th. And, of course, the averages I always do on the last 4 races. Sam Meyer, I'm going to give to him at Memphis. He's going for his 5th win of the season, which is an average finish in 11 starts of 3.7 in that series.
Wow.
Las Vegas, I'm going to give it to Kevin Harvick, going for that 10th win of the season. I think, and like I said, he's won at every track we're going to except Roval. So be on the lookout for Harvick. I think he claims his 2nd Cup this season. Chase Briscoe, going for that 8th win again. Win at Bristol. He's going for that. I think he's going to be a very good contender. And Austin Hill, average finish of 7.9 in 2020, and he's the defending race champion there at Las Vegas, and that's who my picks are. Preston, who are your picks there for this weekend?
Formula One, I'm going a little different here. Max Verstappen. And I think they need rebound. I mean, these DNFs in the past couple races, my God, Red Bull needs to... I wouldn't say they need to figure it out because he was caught up in a accident at Mugello, and that was just a pure... Well, other than some kind of mechanical issue that sent him towards the back right out the start, it's still unfortunate to get caught up in an accident like that. And then whatever happened at Monza, I can't remember. It was a mechanical issue.
Yeah, it was.
I think it had something to do with overheating or something like that, the car. Yeah. So they need to bounce back because I don't know. I haven't really looked at the point system lately, but if he doesn't do anything, he's fading. It's just between Hamilton and Bottas at this point for the points.
No, you're wrong there. It's just the Hamiltons to lose.
Okay.
It's between Hamilton and Bottas.
Bottas could still get there.
No, no, he's not. He's gonna race second, and I'm pretty sure if he's in the lead with a handful of races to go, and Hamilton needs those points, Total Wolff's gonna get on the radio and say, "Move out of the way."
Okay.
I don't want to even go there. That's for a later episode.
I mean, I went back and looked at last year, and I mean, it was Mercedes last year, and then Charles Leclerc, but Ferrari is not doing well this year, so I'm going to put Verstappen up
Ferrari
there.
Who?
So Ferrari who? So moving on from there.
Yeah, you didn't have a pick for the ARCA race, but you got a pick for the 3 races at Las Vegas for the NASCAR series, or for the Cup, Xfinity, and Truck Series.
Yeah.
Who do you got?
For the Cup Series, I have Joey Logano. So he's got 2 wins in the last 3 races at Las Vegas. I think he's going to disrupt Kevin Harvick because I think Harvick is a strong favorite heading into the weekend.
Someone needs to disrupt Kevin Harvick.
Someone's going to have to. I look for between him and Keselowski. Honestly, I just look for Penske in general, but Logano, I think he a little bit more favored in my standpoint.
Don't blame you.
As far as Xfinity goes, Chase Briscoe, winner of spring race, wind in his sails. He's ready to get down to the nitty gritty of the playoffs. I think he gets the win this weekend. Yep. And then as far as the trucks goes, in the last 3 races, I believe it is, for the trucks, Austin Hill's the only regular winner. Kyle Busch has won the last 2.
Yep, he won the spring race there.
So I look for Austin Hill. I think he's got, after winning, he can get around this place. So that's my picks for the weekend.
Well, good picks, man. We'll see how they go and we'll compare them. I'm looking forward to Las Vegas. I've always liked all Las Vegas. It's hit or miss. It's a hit or miss track. It's either a great race, an outstanding race, or a dud. Well, we'll just put it like that, just to get used to the new rating system. Hey, person, I got a story to tell you.
Okay, let's hear it.
All right, so after the race at Bristol, I went up to the Kevin Harvick trailer and to get my 1/24 scale diecast of the winning car.
Yeah, as always.
As I always do, unless it's a throwback weekend, apparently, then you have to special order that.
And then you got to wait.
Or Daytona. You got to wait. So I get up there, and everybody's talking how Kevin Harvick, he's going to be the guy to beat. He's going to be the car to beat, in its championship. And I'm inclined to agree with him. This guy's on a roll. He's doing great. And I get up there, and I'm kind of disappointed at this point because the race was all right, and I know I have about an hour and a half drive home. I'm not going to be home till 1 in the morning. So I already know what's coming ahead of me, and I'm just kind of like, I'm just wanting to get my car and get out here. I get up there, and he goes, "Yes, sir, how can I help you?" I said, "Kevin Harvick, 1/24 scale Busch-like car, please, 2020 paint scheme." He goes, "You don't sound very happy about that." It's like, well, I saw him win a couple weeks ago at Darlington. I was there at the track, saw him win. Didn't really want to see him win again. It's like, well, we like seeing him win. It's like, well, of course you do.
You work
for a company that sells nothing but Kevin Harvick and Stuart Haas racing merchandise. Of course you're going to love to see any of those drivers run well. And he goes, "Man, I think you're hating." It's like, well, kind of. Yeah, I've seen him win already. I didn't want to keep buying his car. I mean, I've got 3 Denny Hamlin cars up there. I got a 4th one on the way. So yeah, I don't want to see repeat drivers win. And then but I will give it this: that Ford is, however, it's the first Ford I've had in there since Ryan Blaney's went at the Roval. But hey, man, you know. And speaking of hey, man,
Hey, man. Hey, man.
we haven't done one of these in a while.
It's been quite some time.
It has been quite some time. I miss Hey Man. I
Yeah.
really do. I really miss Hey Man. Now that Bubba Wallace is joining Denny Hamlin's team, a lot of people out there talking a lot of smack, man. And the first one I got is from Richard, and it's just so crazy how horrible. And these aren't bad. I wouldn't. This is all smash talk, but this is why I don't post on social media. Let's just say that. So all these are off of Facebook, off of NBC Sports, just like where I'm getting all my other news sources is from. And the first one's from a guy named Richard. And Richard says, hope he crashes the car every week. He has no talent. He's trash.
He used a lot of exclamation points in there,
He
too.
used a lot of exclamation points in there.
I imagine him actually, like, yelling when he types that out.
Yeah, I
All
can
those-
imagine him yelling too. It's like, dude, man, Richard, you need to just kind of slow down here. And
That guy needs to chill out. I mean, saying that Bubba Wallace is trash and hopes he wrecks every week. I mean, that's not.
yeah, that's not
I wouldn't
nice.
say he's trash. I
Hey,
mean, he's there
man.
for a reason.
Well, yeah, he's there for a reason. If you're anywhere up there in the top series, you're up there for a reason. The next one I have comes from Christopher. Christopher, after the announcement came out here about Bubba Wallace signing with Denny Hamlin, so what? He still won't win, and he won't be anything without another. He won't be anything but another number in the field. What blew me away about Christopher's little thing is that he said he put "won't" in there twice. And one's with an apostrophe and one's without an
I was
apostrophe.
about to say the same thing.
Hey, man! If you're going to talk smack, learn how to
Yeah.
be consistent. At least everybody knows I can't read well, and you are the reader of the group, and I have that consistency with
Yeah.
you and me. It's a good chemistry. But if you're going to talk smack, check your grammar.
Yeah,
your
our grammar
spelling.
police are out
Check
in
your-
full force
That's
today.
right.
So
Okay. Third one I have, and they're only getting better to me. I put them in descending order from worst to best, in my opinion. And this is only 5 of them that I found out of thousands.
okay.
Third one's from Rhonda. Rhonda, Bubba being put in better equipment, and that's in quotations, means only he will wreck faster, like Stenhouse.
Hey, man.
Wow.
I'm going to applaud Rhonda for that comment because
Oh, you-
I like the Stenhouse comment in it because for the longest time, we always thought we were. I mean, like, I told you the stories before when we would go to Darlington every year, me and a group of friends.
Yeah.
There was always a running bet. We would always start a running bet with people in the crowd. Hey, when's Stenhouse going to wreck? What lap is he going to wreck on? Because he's going to do
Yeah,
it.
you're going to have to have a 10-lap window.
Yeah,
10-lap window.
he was going to do it. It was going to happen. And, I mean, for
Yeah.
the longest time, you would see it happen. So, I mean, we were not hating on the guy, but, I mean, it was kind of going to happen somehow. So, Rhonda, at the same time, I mean, come on, let's be real. He's not going to wreck faster, but, like, I do find it funny that you threw in Stenhouse in
Yeah,
there as
that-
well.
that was
so
really
that's pretty funny. But, yeah, I mean, come on. He's not, better equipment, he's going to wreck faster. Okay.
Yeah,
Everybody
better
calm
equipment
down.
there in the quotation marks there. It was great. The next one comes from Dave, and this one is hit or miss for me, but I think this is kind of funny how we've talked about these people before getting on here, and I'm just going to read it to you. Dave said, "What a freaking joke. NASCAR is getting worse.
Hey, man.
You like it enough to comment on a NASCAR page about what's going on here. These people keep popping back up. And my favorite one, man, my favorite one out of all of these Heymans is from a guy named Michael. How very stupid, with a laughy face emojis. Glad I dropped NASCAR years ago."
Hey, man.
If you dropped NASCAR years ago,
Why are you still
are you still
commenting?
commenting on
The
NASCAR,
page.
man? And everybody does this. Everybody absolutely does this, and it blows my mind.
This is a very, very true statement.
It's consistent throughout all NASCAR fan pages. I'm leaving NASCAR. No one cares. I'm dropping NASCAR. I didn't stop. I stopped being a fan a year ago. No, you haven't. You must still like it a little. to do that.
Glad I dropped NASCAR years ago. Yet
Years
here we
ago.
are. You commenting on
You
a NASCAR
commenting
page.
on this, and yes, it's funny, and I can't. It's just that's hey man, and we haven't done one in a while.
I love it. I loved it. Every single comment.
And there were better ones, but
Well, I'm sure there were.
I'm sure I had to put little black markers in there and censor a lot of stuff because man, people are mad about this. I don't see why. I don't see why something good for the sport or somebody taking a risk in the sport is a bad thing.
Yeah.
To me, that's not a bad thing.
And whoever said that NASCAR was a joke or whatever it was, joke and NASCAR was getting worse. Joke's on you, man. NASCAR's been pretty bad for quite some time, anyways. In general, whatever way you want to look at it, there have been years where NASCAR has been worse in the past couple of years, and it's gotten better again. I mean, hey, hello, you're not telling me anything new.
Yeah, and that's coming from the Formula One guy of In the Marbles.
So I mean, NASCAR has just not been very. I don't know how to explain it to me. It's just not there for me sometimes. The directions that they have gone with some things, especially like I've always said in the past, the rules changes, I just don't agree with them.
Right.
I still watch the sport. I still love watch racing. I just don't agree with some of the decisions that are made at the top. Let's just put it that way.
Yep, nor do I at times, but
Hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. I'll still watch it unless they do something crazy.
And like we said, that guy that said that I'm still on that whole last comment. I dropped it years ago, but you're still here.
Yeah, but you're still here. I find those the funniest of them all.
Yeah, it's
He's still vested enough.
That's a true hey man right there.
That very
All
much
day
is.
long.
But that was hey man, birthday special.
Loved it.
Thank you to Bubba Wallace and Denny Hamlin Racing for providing that content for us. Because that's so true, man. But that was hey man, Preston. Now I tell you what, man. 2020 is almost over. We're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel as far as the NASCAR season. But you know what that means more than anything, right?
No.
Silly season.
Oh,
And,
you're right.
And it's getting a little crazier, but we have a few people who finally found homes. We have, for instance, Bubba Wallace going to Denny Hamlin Racing, and we've talked in droves about that over the past few, maybe hour or so, but definitely looking forward to that. We also have Ross Chastain going to the 42 car. Looking forward to that. But you know what we don't have? We still have a few big seats open, and I think I know where these drivers are going to end up. And here are my predictions for the 2020 silly season. Kyle Larson, he's going to the 48.
that's a good one. That's a big that. I mean, man, that could happen. You never know.
I think it's going to happen, man. I think Kyle Larson's going to go to the 48. But you know who I think is going to go to a highly contested seat there at Stewart-Haas Racing? And then more so Clint Boyer's seat?
Oh,
Chase Briscoe. I think Chase Briscoe gets called up to the big leagues, and I don't know where Boyer goes, but you know what? I think Briscoe goes to that 14 seat.
he's making a case. That's for sure.
He definitely is, and I'm can't wait to see the end of it. And I think there are a few more, but this is one of the big ones I have at the end, and I think this is going to happen, and I hope it happens. The Benedetto stays with Wood Brothers Racing in that 21 car for the foreseeable future.
I think that would be nice. I think it'd be a good fit for him.
And I think he does, and that's going to happen, I feel. Because given time to develop, he's going to do well. But that's my silly season. I've been looking forward for a long time to just play that little silly season song.
That's good. I like that. It
Yep.
kind of reminded me of almost like a game show. I'm not going to lie.
Well, I mean, we can bring back quizzes. I mean, you don't do really well
No.
on the pop quizzes.
No, not at all.
Sometimes you do. But
I like that. That was good.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
like your predictions. Those are pretty good predictions. I mean, the Kyle Larson one is one of those big, talked about things that's going to be talked about for a while, you know?
yeah, I think he really ends up at Hendrick. Tony Stewart has ideas of him coming back to his team, but I think that's, a good prediction of where he might end up.
Not a bad one.
That seat hasn't been filled yet.
Nope.
It hasn't. And I'm curious to see who will fill it, and I think it's going to be Larson.
Man, I want to say I agree with it almost. I mean, it would be cool to see him back in the sport as, once he gets through. I guess, did he finish with all that?
Yeah, he finished with everything he needed to do. Now he's just waiting to come back.
And now he's just racing dirt track as well, and then his off
Just
time.
dominating
wherever he goes. So yeah, it'd be cool to see him back.
But you know what? With all the changes we've had this week here at In the Marbles for our birthday episode, 1 year, man. Still can't believe it. It's been awesome. One thing we're not going to change is our final thoughts, driver of the week, and this week in NASCAR. So let's get into it.
White flag, white flag, white flag. 1 lap to go. 1 lap right here.
Final thoughts here. Birthday episode. Preston, I'm so happy that, we're still doing this.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we're still doing it because I've put a lot of money into it.
Yeah,
Still.
well, yeah, that too.
Yeah. Thanks for helping out with everything, man. This has been a fun year. Can't wait to see what next year brings. It's going to be a lot of fun. And with that being said, I think we have our In the Marbles 2.0 standings.
Yes, let's get to them.
So SMR R&D still in the lead. Broke the 5,000 point mark after Bristol. 5,015 points. Beamer on a Beamer, 4,850. I'm pretty sure it's Maples, right?
Who's in the lead?
Yeah.
R&D? Yeah, that's him.
I'm pretty sure Maples there. If nothing crazy happens and John doesn't have a resurgence, or I jump both of them, which I'm not seeing it happen, might win that $100 Amazon gift card.
He might.
And you know what? He's deserving of a shirt too. We need to send him a shirt as well.
Yeah.
So Beamer on a Beamer, 4,850 points in second. I'm in third with 4,633 points. S Blades, 4,508. You, Preston, 4,487.
I think I might be out of it at this point.
Mathematically, I think you're still in it.
That's a lot of ground to make up, I think.
It's a lot of ground to make up, but it'll take them messing up, them using up all their good picks to Harvick's right away or something in order to for you to blow past them, I think.
I will admit I forgot to change my lineup this weekend. So whatever I rolled with last weekend, I had this weekend. So
well, hopefully it was Harvick.
I hope it was too.
Because oh my gosh, man, I tell you what, those guys have been on it since dropping a green flag at Daytona.
Yeah.
Meep, my personal favorite to get up there and go get them, 3,488 points. Crunchy Enterprises, 3,366. 43andMe, 3,143. Then J Waka Flocka, Wiregrass Racing, BK Racing, 57. All in the 1,800s, 1,600s, and 1,500s.
I think it's safe to say the top five it's just the top five at this point.
I would say the top five are still mathematically in it. But I don't know if I'm going to be able to keep up with these two up front. SMR R&D and Beamer on a Beamer. Those two have been on it since the drop for green flag at Daytona, man.
Who's Beamer on a Beamer?
That's my uncle.
I like the name that he came up with, the Beamer on a Beamer.
Yeah, he rides motorcycles and more so BMW motorcycles. And
Beamer on a Beamer.
That's right,
pretty
man.
good.
Yeah, that is. And so, again, $100 Amazon gift card. If either myself or Preston wins, it's going to go up to a $200 total Amazon gift card package here coming up here in the next couple of weeks or in the next year.
Yeah.
I'd say in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be handing it to Maples or John.
Yeah, I think it's going to be one of those two, honestly.
And Preston, I'm surprised we haven't done this driver of the week. Talk about them all the time here on the show. But our driver of the week this week here at In the Marbles is, I feel, one that could have rewritten the history books. Davey Allison is our driver of the week this week here at In the Marbles. Was unfortunately killed in a helicopter crash while en route to the Talladega Superspeedway in 1993. But his achievements are amazing. 1992 Daytona 500 winner. 1991 Coca-Cola 600 winner. 1987, 89, and 1992 Winston 500. That's Talladega. 91 and 92 Winston winner, the All-Star race. 1984 ARCA Talladega Supercar Series Hoosier Superspeedway Challenge winner. 1993 IROC champion, posthumously after his death. 1987 Rookie of the Year. Over the span of 9 years, has 19 wins, 92 top 10s, and 14 poles. His first race came at the 1985 Talladega 500. And his last race was the Slick 5300 there in New Hampshire in 1993 prior to his death. His first win came at the 1987 Winston 500 there at Talladega. And his last one came at the 1993 Pontiac Excitement 400 at Richmond shortly before his death. I think he could have rewritten the history books. Davey Allison, your driver of the week this week here at In the Marbles. And for this week in NASCAR, we go all the way back. And I have a tendency to do this. I don't know if you've listened to the past few episodes, right?
Yeah.
I have a tendency to do this. So I find my This Week in NASCAR from the NASCAR Hall of Fame website. They have this big blog with what happened this week in NASCAR. It's really cool. Go check it out. And I find myself reading what I think it says. It's so weird. I'm so dyslexic, dude. I read what I think it says. So last week was like 1955 was the date, but I read 1956.
Oh.
I read the wrong date.
Okay.
And I've done that a lot. And I try to correct it in post, and it sounds horrible. So, and I think people mainly on YouTube will see that and say, whoa, you said it wrong.
I think I said it wrong.
And maybe that's why we don't have a lot of views on YouTube. But for this week in NASCAR, we go back to September 26, 1954. Herb Thomas was the first driver to earn 2 NASCAR Premier Series championships, taking the top honors in 1951, then again in 1953. He had another outstanding season in 1954, earning 12 wins and 8 poles on the year. He also swept both events at the challenging Langhorne Speedway there in Pennsylvania. He won earlier that May at the 1-mile circular-shaped track just outside Trenton, New Jersey. Then, in the September race, Thompson started from the pole in his Hudson Hornet and held off Lee Petty and Herschel McGriff to win the 250-lap event in NASCAR's early years. Langhorne drew some of the biggest fields, crowds, and purses. This particular race was filled with 64 entries, setting its sights on the $2,450 first prize money. And that was September 26, 1954, for this week in NASCAR. Preston, we've done 1 year of this show. I want to take a special opportunity to thank every fan. I'm talking to Johns, Maples, I think Brian Stones, anybody who's, or S. Blades, Susan Blades there in Texas, probably the Blairs as well, who have listened to this show since day one.
Yeah.
And I remember getting a ton of text messages after that first episode came out. It was mainly about you.
Oh, no.
And it was like, Preston needs to speak up more.
Speak up?
Preston needs to put himself closer to the microphone. And it was so funny because I tried to make the show, I tried to make it air-free, like we did nothing wrong those first few episodes, you know? Mm-hmm. Come to find out that is impossible.
Yeah, that is very impossible.
Unless you are a pro at this and have the script, you're going to mess up. But it's been fun, man. It's been a lot of fun. I want to thank all those people, for listening, and I'm sure they tell everybody about the show. And that it's just, been fun. We're growing our numbers. We're up to 34 consistent audience right now. And I think we could go. I was hoping to get to 2,000 in a month plays. It took over a year. It took just about a year to go through, but
it's okay.
I'm thinking we're going to get more traction here, man. We're on YouTube now. Make sure, I want to take this time to ask everybody to go out to their podcast platforms, wherever you listen to podcasts, Apple, Spotify, Overcast, anywhere you listen to podcasts, and give us a rating.
Yeah, I think the ratings help.
And tell us how we're doing. Just take, I would really appreciate it if you took 5 minutes, not even, just to go on there on your podcast provider, click however many stars you think we're deserving of, and tell us, and give a rating of the show. Go to YouTube, do the same thing, subscribe, like. I mean, if you listen to the show, you're just going to watch the show on YouTube. But I think it gives you a little more perspective on everything, and, it's different. So if you're on YouTube, like or dislike the videos. I don't care.
Yeah, sure.
Just comment. Just if you guys appreciate everybody's listening, but man, if you could just take 5 minutes to do that, that would make In the Marbles birthday a special one.
Yeah.
It really
It would.
Preston, closing out, man, do you have anything else to say? Anything you wish we would have done different in the past year? Or
No, looking back on it all, what a year it's been. We're getting there. Good things are to come.
it's been an interesting year for you.
Yeah, definitely. For
And,
sure.
You know, it's been a big year for me too. My wife getting a job. We're moving into a new house. A lot of changes still to come, I feel, with the show, with everything. But hopefully, I don't know if we're going to make it to the Roval this year.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I think there's just too many moving parts, and I think they were talking about 6,000 fans being in the stands, and unless you renewed your tickets, which I didn't, I don't think it's going to happen. I think those receipts will fill up fast. So we're not going to be at the Roval this year, which is unfortunate. Last year was a lot of fun, being our third episode there from the road course. But I'm thank you, man, for all that you've put into the show, and can't wait to see what the next year brings.
Yeah, it's been fun. I mean, it was I still remember those. I think we talked about it a couple weeks ago. I remember the times when we first met, and you were. We told Ian, I remember it because that was the story when you gave me the signed Paul Menard picture. I said, Ian, I remember the first day I met Matt, man. He was in the firehouse in the kitchen talking to somebody about NASCAR. And you were talking about getting a diecast or something. I'm pretty sure it was. It was a Stenhouse one. I remember it perfectly. You said something about Stenhouse.
Why would I get a Stenhouse?
I don't know.
diecast?
You were talking about something.
I've never seen him win a race.
And I was like, oh, yeah, NASCAR, man. You were like, oh, what do you know about NASCAR? Who are you a fan of? And it's just, I'll never forget it. When I was just like, Paul Menard, you were just like, oh, he does watch NASCAR.
Yeah, okay, he must watch NASCAR. He must really like Paul Menard. Oh, man.
Yep. One of the biggest Paul Menard fans you'll ever meet. Probably one of the only ones you'll probably ever meet.
Only one, and by far the biggest one, because
Yeah.
I don't see anybody really.
Like I said, I don't think I've ever met another one in person.
Nope. I know I haven't.
So,
It's
other than
okay,
just
but-
a Facebook group.
It's okay,
And even
buddy.
that, it was only like 2,000 people in it, I think.
Well, it is what it is, man.
It is, man.
But I've had fun this past year. Looking forward to next year. We're already ahead of the game with YouTube and everything. More content to come, more everything to come.
Yep.
So again, make sure to go down there and rate us, and it'd be beneficial not only for us getting our name out there more, but for just us. Be a lot of fun to read those. Maybe we can make the comments say, "Hey, man, if there are enough nasty ones." Not saying go out there and rate nasty ones just to get them right on the show, but go out there and give us your honest opinion about it. I really appreciate that. Preston, do you have anything else, man?
Nope.
Before we wrap up this 1 year episode.
Nope.
All right, man. Well, with that said, we'll just go ahead and wrap it up. I'd like to thank everybody so much for tuning in to us this week here at In the Marbles, our 1 year episode. Thank you so much again for everybody for their support. Make sure to follow us on all social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Make sure to follow Preston on Twitch as well, and mine will be out here soon. For Preston Lute, I'm Matt Beamer. Thank you again so much for listening. Stay safe out there and have a good rest of your week.